Hello and welcome to Big Picture. I am Vishal Dahiya and today we're going to talk about hydrogen fuel cells for vehicles. Now, recently the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has notified the standards for safety evaluation of hydrogen fuel cell based vehicles, and this is clearly aimed at pushing hydrogen fuel based vehicles in the country. We'll try and understand what exactly is a hydrogen fuel cell, how does it power the vehicles, what are these norms and what are the challenges and opportunities here as far as using hydrogen fuel for running vehicles is concerned. And for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of guests. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with Professor K.A. Subramanian. He is the head and professor at the Center of Energy Studies at Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi. We also have with us Mr. Abhishek Saxena, public policy expert at Niti Aayog, responsible for electric mobility and climate change. And we also have with us Mr. Arun Malhotra. He is a former MD of Nissan India and an automobile expert. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, to Rajya Sabha Television. Let me begin with you, Professor Subramanian, and let's start by giving our viewers an overview about this entire technology. What exactly is a hydrogen fuel cell? How does it power the vehicles? How can we run a car or any other vehicle such as bus on hydrogen fuel cell?
Yes, so we have experienced internal combustion engines, but fuel cell is entirely different. It is an electrochemical device which convert hydrogen into electricity directly. So there is no moving part. It is a anode, cathode, and membrane.
Okay.
And we are talking the hydrogen fuel cell. Why want hydrogen fuel cell over internal combustion engine is, the first one is the emission point of view. The hydrogen fuel cell will not emit any emission including carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon, and particulate matter. So the efficiency of fuel cell is very high than any other power device. It is around 45% plus. So the fuel cell is very silent. And how the operation is that it is whatever hydrogen passing on anode, then electrons will be attracted by the anode. It goes to load.
Okay.
And proton will transfer from anode to cathode through electrolyte.
Okay.
Here membrane. So in the cathode, the electrons coming from load plus proton, then air inducted from the atmosphere where O2 will react and forming the water.
Okay.
This is a simple electrochemical principle of fuel cell.
Okay.
Why we want to prefer fuel cell? Yeah.
Please carry on, Professor Subramanian.
Yeah.
Please carry on.
Yeah. The same thing we can do in the combustion engine also. Hydrogen fueled combustion engine under competitive. That is also will compete in different aspects, because capital cost of IC engine will be lower, operating cost will be higher, total transport cost will play the major role. Okay. Combustion engine, what the problem will be, the chemical energy of hydrogen will be converted into thermal energy, heat. Then heat energy into convert into your mechanical, then mechanical to some other form. So many conversion, chemical, heat, then mechanical. So some losses, and the heat energy as per Carnot theorem or Carnot efficiency, we can't completely convert heat into any form of work.
Okay.
So that is the limitation of IC engines. But in fuel cell, it is a low temperature operation. Okay. It is not depends on this Carnot and other things. So that what the efficiency will be higher. Of course, some losses will be there in the fuel cell. That is inevitable, but researchers are doing to reduce the losses. But you see, 45% efficiency, 45% efficiency plus some aspect 50, 55 depends on in Europe they are using different purpose fuel cell, not only power generation, also heating the building, because they are using a lot of energy for heating building. Another aspect I am saying that fuel cell is the mobility. Vehicle is there. One is for transporting purpose. Second thing will be fuel cell vehicle is in our home Then some power source, powerhouse is there for our home. We can run the fuel cell, we can tap the power. Suppose a person having 50 kilowatt fuel cell,
Okay.
that vehicle can be used for mobility as well as powering the home for emergency or standby.
Dual purposes.
This is one of the advantages, unique. And also the desert area, water scarcity area. But 1 kg of hydrogen bar or in the fuel cell reactions, it will convert theoretically 9 kg of water. So your vehicle travels so many kilometers, let us say desert, for example. So then whatever traveling, if you have some provision, we can tap the water that can be used for some other purpose.
Okay.
So other no emission from fuel cell, only water vapor or water.
Okay.
This is what fuel cell that, and in India is the right time because we have launched electric vehicle, the first step. Then the further moving electric vehicle beyond here battery electric vehicle. Battery is a problem because of capital cost and maintenance charging issues. But of course, city drive is the best, but longer distance, I'm saying that.
Okay.
If fuel cell is coming, so you can remove the battery, put the fuel cell. Other part will say the motor and the controllers, everything will be same. Only instead of battery, then fuel cell. That's what fuel cell electric vehicle.
Okay. So Professor Subramanian, one more question here before we go to the policy part, and that is the source of hydrogen here in these fuel cells. Is it from renewable sources of energy or fossil fuels only?
Yeah. So the source of hydrogen from clean energy, one is natural gas, but in our Indian context, renewable energy, because we have surplus electricity, that electricity can be converted into hydrogen through electrolysis. That is a longer run, it will be suitable for India. Of course, the new technology, that is thermal based, high temperature steam electrolysis based, it is economical. And another one is biomass based hydrogen production.
Okay.
Because India having a lot of agricultural waste. From that waste, through gasification, we can produce hydrogen. Then really this hydrogen program will boost our rural economy.
Okay. Okay. Let's now look at the policy part in terms of what the government says and what does the policy says. Abhishek, I'd like to bring you in here. As Professor Subramanian has pointed out, looks like this is very energy efficient, very silent as well, multi-purpose. Quite a lot of promises here for hydrogen fuel cell technology. So from a policy perspective and from guidelines which have recently come in, how are we trying to, tackle this particular situation and also make use of the opportunity?
Right. So thank you so much for this question. And see, we have to understand the mobility landscape of India and where India is actually envisaging to go forward. So we are moving towards clean, shared and connected kind of mobility, where our Honorable Prime Minister has also said that our mobility for tomorrow should be zero emissions. Meaning we have to cut down pollution in our cities, we have to adhere to our commitments in the Paris Pact, we have to commit to INDC targets of reducing emissions, and at the same time we have to reduce our import bill, and we have to embrace newer technologies which are coming in the automobile area. So in this context, I think we have made a lot of progress in the electric vehicle space, which have zero tailpipe emissions, which are clean, which can fuel your different kinds of mobility at large. But what we have seen is that electric vehicles, essentially, as Professor Subramanian rightly explained, uses battery as a source of energy. Now, for heavy vehicles, so for trucks and for buses, they have not come out to be the best solution in the market. So an example to quote this is like a battery, a kilogram of a battery gives you only 0.1 kilowatt hour of an energy. But a kilowatt of an hydrogen can give you 33 kilowatt hour of energy. So this is highly energy intense form of technology that we are using at the fuel cells level. So this is very beneficial for your long haul trucks and buses, which the problem, which essentially the electric vehicles is not being able to solve up till now, is the general understanding that we have at this point of time. Now, coming to the notification which has been issued by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways on standards for safety evaluation of vehicles being propelled by hydrogen fuel cells, what it essentially does is it allows hydrogen fuel cell vehicles to actually come in the market. There's a safety standard which has been set up before any vehicles actually comes onto the Indian roads. They have to go undergo some kind of a testing, and these standards are actually based on the global best practices followed across the world. So this is a very progressive notification which allows Indian automakers, players across the world to foray into Indian market and test Indian markets for hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. And to my mind, there's a huge scope for hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. And if we look at synergies across different programs, so if I look at or Honorable Prime Minister's commitment to 450 gigawatt hour of renewable energy production. So we know that a lot of solar energy production happens during the non-peak hours. And if we use those renewable energy to produce hydrogen, as you rightly mentioned, the source of hydrogen is a very critical area of this. So we don't produce something of a blue hydrogen or a gray hydrogen from methane or from steam refining or from natural. We directly go for green hydrogen, where our excess renewable capacity is being used from electrolysis to produce green hydrogen. That is being stored, that is being transported, and that is directly put into a vehicle. So
Okay.
from a well to tank kind of a basis, you literally have zero emissions on the whole supply chain. You can actually make strides into this area, and India can actually be a world leader of hydrogen production and fuel cell vehicles. This is a new technology. And one thing we have to remember, that India is the second largest producer of buses, the largest producer of trucks, and the largest producer of tractors. So these heavy duty vehicles, there is an alternative which has not been embraced by the which has not been embraced by the world at such a large scale, and India can take a first mover advantage in this and make its strides into this area of embracing hydrogen and keeping its prime position for bus manufacturing and for tractor manufacturing and for heavy duty vehicles, and can come up as the front runner in the hydrogen fuel cell vehicle also.
Okay.
So this is the landscape that we are working with as of now, and I think we at Niti Aayog are very optimistic and very confident that hydrogen fuel cell vehicles have a big role to play in the mobility scenario of tomorrow. And along with electric vehicle, along with other type of zero emission technologies that we are talking about, it has a very crucial role to play.
Okay.
And when our if you look at the emissions inventory of India, a large part of it is being contributed by the heavy duty vehicles. So some estimates say that trucks contributes around 40% to the PM 2.5 pollution, and the older trucks contribute more towards that. So moving those vehicles and moving freight vehicles toward hydrogen fuel cells is a great opportunity for India. And I think Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has taken the right first step, which allows actually the vehicles to come on the roads with necessary safety and standards, which are globally present, being adopted in India.
Okay.
So this is at this landscape and at this juncture, when after COVID-19 we are trying to rebuild sustainably and rebuild our economy in green ways. This is a very good step that Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has actually taken.
Okay, indeed, there are a lot of opportunities there, and quite a lot of promises also. The way things are being worked on. Let's take the industry perspective here as well. Mr. Arun Malhotra is with us. Mr. Malhotra, from the industry's point of view, two aspects I'd like to ask you here. One, how feasible it is from the production point of view or the utilization point of view, and what are the challenges here onwards, both in terms of producing vehicles like these and also ensuring that they can run uninterrupted on the road, just like petrol or diesel vehicles?
Uh, Professor Subramaniam clearly mentioned the hydrogen fuel cell has been seen as a vehicle of the future. And this has been in the talk for the last 1 decade. And clearly, there is no two opinion on that the emissions coming is clear water. So emission is virtually zero as far as pollution is concerned. But I think let's step back and let's look at the ground zero and ground reality. Companies across the world, whether Europe and USA, have been experimenting with this. The two companies which are focusing on this internationally is Toyota and Hyundai. And the cost of the fuel cell vehicles which they have on road is $50,000. And the chairman and the senior persons have said that for every vehicle they are selling, which are in very few numbers, the loss is equivalent to the value of the vehicle. I think the challenges which they are facing, and that's what they identified very clearly, they clearly see the future. One is in terms of producing it, then is the system of transporting it, because hydrogen fuel is very inflammable also, and then in terms of storage, and then in terms of dispensing. The investment required is very, very high. Today, internationally even, there is a lot of work going on, but it is very, very early days. We have stepped in from the IC engines. We are talking of hybrid. The FAME policy has come on electric vehicles. There's a clear policy at 10,000 crores government has invested. Even there's a long way to go.
Okay.
So theoretically, conceptually, hydrogen fuel is very good. But if you look at practically in terms of investment, in terms of the cost, in terms of storage, in terms of production, in terms of dispensation, in terms of safety, we have a long way to go.
Okay.
So the way I see it today in India, although it's good to have standards at the moment, as far as commercial production, commercial viability is concerned, it's a long, long way to go. And I think we have enough on our platter. Let's focus on lowering the emission levels and improving the fuel efficiency of conventional vehicles. And let's focus on electric vehicles where there's been a lot of focus. Okay. I believe hydrogen fuel, side by side, we can go on doing research on it, we can go on experimenting on it, and we can learn from industry players in the world.
Okay.
But I don't think it's the opportune time, and neither I think any company is thinking or considering introduction of hydrogen fuel cells vehicles, because internationally also the market is, or the production is very less.
Okay, Mr. Saxena, those seem to be, some concerns from the industry there in terms of, the production cost, the investment out there, and the examples quoted by Mr. Malhotra from the international manufacturers as well. What he's suggesting is that let's give one more, more push to the electric mobility here, and side by side keep working on the hydrogen fuel cells as well.
No, I think the concerns raised by Mr. Malhotra are totally valid, and we have to be cognizant of the high cost and investment that is actually required in the hydrogen fuel cell infrastructure per se, or the hydrogen economy that we are talking about largely in this aspect. So essentially, we need to understand that, if we look at technologies like electric vehicles per se, so the batteries which are today somewhere around $150 per kilowatt hour, in a decade it has fallen by more than 90%.
Mm-hmm.
And that has happened because of the economies of scale. And we all know the stories with our smartphones and telecoms, so I don't need to repeat on those areas. So the only point I'm trying to make is the economies of scale and the investment by the governments across the world, by the leading OEMs, can actually lower these costs drastically.
Okay.
And we have seen this across industries. It's no two ways about it. The point is, it has a very huge potential, and India, being a leader of world's automobile industry and world's leading manufacturer, has to take the plunge right now. Because, we can't be a laggard in this area. We already have a supremacy in this area, and we have to take the plunge right now. Right now, the cost would be high. So, electric vehicles. So if I look at the data, as Dr. Malhotra is rightly pointed out, that, electric vehicles is something that we need to focus on. Agreed. Electric vehicles solves a large part of the problem, but there's still a pie left, which is of the heavy duty vehicles. Where I personally myself see hydrogen as a very good option. And, the kind of trajectory which electric vehicles have actually taken up. In 2015, only 90,000, electric vehicles were sold across the world. Now the figure has reached 9 million in just 5 years.
Okay.
So we are looking at an exponential curve of transformative mobility and zero emissions mobility across the world. Investment agreed, and the cost of production is very low. Now you have to understand why this is low. In India, we had a couple of pilot projects of different manufacturers which came up, but across the world, the volume is pretty low of hydrogen fuel cell vehicles.
Okay.
And if as governments, if as OEMs, we harmonize the synergies between renewables, solar, probably fertilizer industry, in the natural gas industry, we can see a huge level of convergence, and these prices can actually fall very drastically. So the idea is we need to be open as an economy, we need to be open as a country, and we need to delve into this area at the early stages to make and keep India at the leadership position of clean mobility. Is the idea that I want to put it on the table.
Mr. Malhotra, would you agree with Mr. Saxena there on this part that electric vehicles is something which we can keep on pushing as far as private transport vehicles are concerned, such as car, but when we talk about heavy duty vehicles, freight transport vehicles such as trucks or other larger vehicles, that is where hydrogen fuel cell technology might be really useful. A two-pronged strategy might work there.
I have total agreement with my friend from Niti Aayog in terms of vision and in terms of the concept. But we have to be also cognizant of the reality. Today, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are not even at the very infancy stage. It's at the infancy stage where 10 years before electric vehicles were. Today, electric vehicles, you can talk of China, you can talk of USA, countries which have started. Toyota, which was the leader in hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. Even last year, they hardly could produce 6,000 vehicles, and they're on record that this is just a technology demonstration. This is a learning.
Okay.
So, our resources are, do we have the financial resources to invest? I don't think a company will invest even in government terms, in terms of transportation, even in the dispensation stations. You can't use the normal dispensation stations at all. They're very expensive. When I talk to industry people, there's a clear view. The process, it is the future, but the time has not come now.
Okay.
And I don't think we in India will have to focus on. Otherwise, we'll keep jumping from BS4 to BS6 to hybrid to electric, and then we jump to something else. I don't think we have the bandwidth. We don't have the resources. And we can, at any point of time, we must keep closely watching it. Dr. Subramaniam is doing a great job in Central Electric Studies. He's a renowned authority. I am not saying that we should not continue to focus. But if we expect that anybody in the industry will think of even producing it, not even producing it, I think that's not the reality.
Okay, definitely. It will take some time. I agree, and I am pretty sure Mr. Saxena would also agree that it will take some time for newer technology, newer ideas to be accepted. And that was the same the case with the electric vehicles there as well. Clearly, let me bring in Professor Subramaniam here as well on one aspect which Mr. Malhotra spoke about, and a very important one in terms of safety aspect of transportation and storage of hydrogen fuel. Because if you're talking about the technology, that's an important aspect. So how do we address that, Professor Subramanian?
Yeah, safety. Before that, can you, one thing, that cost of the fuel cell, can I answer that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Dr. Arun Malhotra rightly said, cost of the fuel cell is very high. Yes, but he also said infrastructure development for hydrogen production, transportation, dispensing, etc. But in Indian context, our oil industries already having more than many decades experience on hydrogen production from natural gas and other sources for in-house use, refineries. So they know how to handle the hydrogen, how to produce hydrogen. Instead of natural gas, you can put biomass. That we have already having confidence of how to handle the hydrogen. Second issue is that, yes, dispensing and storage, but that happened earlier decade, addressed now. Type 3, Type 4 cylinders are available. You can hydrogen store at 700 bar, 350 bar or 700 bar. Any vehicle can be 300 kilometer to 500 kilometer. So that will not be issue. Right now we have solution for mobility. Only fuel cell, cost of fuel cell is very high, yes, but alternative technology is there. Hydrogen fueled internal combustion engine, we are the leader. India is a leader, especially at Delhi. We have devoted 4 decades for development of hydrogen fueled internal combustion engines vehicle, now TRL level above 8. Thanks to MNRE, funded for so much, is the vehicle is running in Indian Oil.
Okay.
That bus, hydrogen fueled bus. This is one. And the infrastructure point of view, yes, only fuel cell cost. Of course, no. We believe researcher in future, cost will come down like a battery. How coming down now is a reality. Battery operated vehicle is not new. It is tried before so many decades, but now catch up because of battery constraints. But now our point is that, my point is that we want battery electric vehicle as well, IC engine based, hydrogen based IC engine plus hydrogen based fuel cell. Battery operated vehicle is very, very suitable for 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler for short range, like urban mobility. But longer range for 500 kilometer, battery capacity has to increase. It has to go, depends on speed, high speed 120 kilometer per hour. And we are all multi-utility vehicle segment, our Indians now, they're not ready to go for small vehicle. So in this case, we need a huge amount of battery power that will jump to 50 kilowatt hour to 90 kilowatt hour battery backup. Then cost of the vehicle is too high in terms of battery electric vehicle.
Okay.
That is one. Second thing is how to recycle the battery. Another challenges. Now air pollution converted to solid pollution. Third one is we have to depend on lithium from other countries. Again, we don't want to repeat the same thing, crude oil dependent our economy.
Okay.
We want to depend on our own biomass and our own renewable energy sources based hydrogen. That is a longer run, our country will benefit.
Okay.
Yeah, come to your safety point of view. Yes, hydrogen is a very unique fuel. It's highly reactive. But another one interesting fact is it has high self-ignition temperature and low density. The moment anything leakage happens, immediately disperses in the atmosphere. So it needs minimum air-fuel ratio for catching of ignition combustion. In this way, in other countries, what they do, unlike fuel tank will be backside or below the vehicle, they put it top of the vehicle. If anything collide happen, automatic release of hydrogen will go. Safety is prime concern because one aspect, flame velocity is very high. If it explodes, then it is a very dangerous. But at the same time, we are sitting nearby 230 volt current. That is also danger unless we touch it. The same thing, we know how to handle the hydrogen. This safety problem can be eliminated.
Okay.
I'm sure that we are all having technology, sensor and automatic system.
Definitely.
And maybe before coming the vehicle on the road, it will be crash test, safety test, everything will be conducted by our agency. Then I'm sure it is a safe.
Definitely. Definitely, there it is, Professor Subramanian. Thank you so much for sharing those views with us. Indeed, really, really interesting to know about hydrogen fuel cell technology. Thank you, Mr. Arun Malhotra, as well as Mr. Saxena there from Niti Aayog for sharing their point of view. So there it is, all about hydrogen fuel cell technology as far as the concept of electric mobility is concerned. Perhaps, is answer to a lot of mobility problems or mobility solutions in a nutshell, which we are looking at. But there are certain concerns as well in case of industry, that is production costs, and obviously the work is ongoing. We will try and understand things further, look at solutions and perhaps move with an integrated approach. Thank you so much for watching Rajya Sabha Television. We'll come back again tomorrow with a different topic.